All right, guys, let's continue on with some graphing here. So last time we said we were going to do this in the form of y equals a times b to the power of x. And then we had our magic points were at 0, comma a, and then also at 1, comma a times b. Now, we're still going to do that here, except now what we're going to have is the a times b to the power of, and then we're going to say up here, this is going to be x minus h, and then this will be plus k. And so what the addition we're going to put here is we're going to have a left or right shift up there. And that one is going to be an x lies type of thing. And then we're going to have a up and down shift over here. And that's going to be a y tells the truth thing. So kind of like just like the moving left and right and up and down that we've really been seeing all year. We saw it with the parabolas, we saw it with the square root functions, and this will be the same here. So here's what we're going to do here. Now on number 23, I'm actually going to kind of interpret this as, I'm going to say that 3 right here is actually b equals 3. And I'm actually going to say a is 1 here. And the reason a is 1 is you can kind of visualize this as 1 times 3 to the x minus 1 minus 1. So it's really referring to this 1 out front here. So there's no number multiplying out front, so our a value is 1. Now, if you look down at number 25 and 26, you're going to see that that does change. But for now, we're going to keep it like that. Okay, so our points here then are going to be 0, comma 1, since a is 1, according to our magic points here. And then 1, comma 3, since it's 1 times 3 for our a times b. But because we have our other shifts here, we're going to have to move these points actually. So up here we have x minus 1, and so that means I actually need to add 1 to x. So I'm going to put x plus 1 there. Now, why is it not x minus 1? Well, it's just because, like we said here, x lies. Now we have a minus 1 out back, and so that means we're going to subtract 1 from y, and y tells the truth there. And so those are our adjustments here. So now I need to take these x values that I had and apply these. So I had 0, comma 1, so the 0 is going to turn into a 1, and then the 1 is going to turn into a 0. So I'm just following these rules right here. I'm adding 1 to the x, and I'm subtracting 1 from the y. Okay, so then the next one here, I have to add 1 to this x, so that's going to become 2. And then I have to subtract 1 from the y, so that's also going to become 2. All right, so those are going to be my points here. I have 1, comma 0 will be right there. And then 2, comma 2 will be right there. And so we still have our same exponential growth here. It's growth because we have our b value. B is greater than 1, so it should be growth. And so that's a good looking graph right there. All right, next up here, number 25. So for this one, I have my a is now 5. And our b is right here. The base of the exponent is 2. And so my original magic points are going to be 0, comma a, so that's 0, comma 5. And then 1, comma a times b, and so that's going to be 10. However, I have some more transformations here. So I have that x plus 2 up there. Now, since x lies, it's going to be x minus 2. And then over here is a down 2, so I'm going to say y minus 2. Okay, so in this case, they're both going to be subtracting 2, the x because x lies, and then the y because y tells the truth. So I have to subtract 2 from my x value. So I'm going to take this first point, 0 minus 2 is negative 2. And then 5 minus 2 is 3. All right, now I have to do this one. So I'm going to do 1 minus 2, and that is negative 1. And then 10 minus 2 is going to be 8. So negative 2, comma 3. And then negative 1, comma 8. And so this one will be our exponential growth as well. So it's going to be looking something like this. All right, next up, we're going to kind of do the opposite of this. So they've given us the graph, and we're going to write the equation. So there's no shifting, and so that means that our form is just going to be y equals a times b to the power of x, like we started on. So I just need to figure out what a and b are. So we're going to do that based on our kind of key points here, 0, comma 1. Oh, no, it's not 0, comma 1, excuse me, 0, comma a, and then 1, comma a times b. And so if I look at this first point here, I see we have 0, comma 4. And so that tells me that a must be 4. And then if I look at my next point, I have 1, comma 8. And so if I know then that I must have a times b equals 8, but I already know that a is 4, then I could say 4b equals 8. I can divide the 4 over. I see that b equals 2. And so I'm going to say this one is y equals 4 times 2 to the power of x. Now number 29 is very similar here, except they just gave me the points in writing, and that's fine because it's actually almost even easier because I have 0, comma 5. And so with 0, comma 5, I know that matches up with my 0, comma a, so that means that a is 5.
That's a red 10.
Yeah. All right, we got special guest speaker Landon here. And then next up, we know that the 1, comma 40 means that a times b equals 40. And we already know that a is 5. So 5b equals 40. Divide the 5 over, and b equals 8. And so our points here are going to be, not our points, our equation will be y equals 5 times 8 to the power of x.